up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? The chat is a little more sparkly this morning than I thought it would be. But hey, yeah. Sorry, Mar friends, for baiting you with my bang theme and bang font. I should probably remove those from the title because for whatever reason, my stream bot is down. Stream Elements is down. Like, what's going on with Stream Elements? Are we gonna spend the whole morning fixing Stream Elements? Morning is morning for me. It's 10 a.m. for me. I know that by streaming in the morning, I get a lot of European people and Asian, just any other time zone where it's not the morning. So for y'all, it's probably not. Ping Theo. I don't think Theo manages Stream Elements, right? Is that his thing? I hope not. I'm going to log in right now. I'm just going to see if I can suss out what's going on. Maybe I have to like pay for something and I haven't. Let's find out. Type in the code from your Authenticator app. Oh, God. I got a new phone, so I don't even know if my Authenticator app works. Did I put it on 1Password? This is why I don't show my screen right away, people. We don't want to mess anything up. Ah, no. No. I don't know if I have it. Oh, no. Oh, no. This wasn't supposed to be like this. To quote the almighty Kenny Beats, it wasn't supposed to go like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Hang on. Let me see if I can sign in 1 second. 843. That was the first 3 of that code. And you will never know the second 3. It failed. Oh no. The old consonants, some of that Baroque stuff. Throw away money at Twitch usually solves the problems. Usually. Yeah, right? And I have to verify it using an existing device. Yeah, I'm screwed. I can't even sign into my own Twitch. Oh no. Oh no, it's so over. It's so over. Yeah, if you want it, I'll just type it out. I mean, if you need my dang font, it's this one. And if you need my dang theme, I can go find it pretty quickly. Here we are. Backup codes? Yeah, so I was pretty smart about it. I actually signed in to my Authenticator app on someone else's phone so that when I got my new phone, I'd use their phone to register mine. So I could kind of hop between them. But they're not here right now, so I can't do that. And I should have done it when I bought the phone. So I'll get that done. What I'm doing really, though, is moving all of the auth codes to 1Password because I hate using these stupid like Duo, Mobile, and Authy. They're just awful. And I want to use 1Password for that kind of stuff. So I moved everything over there except Twitch for whatever reason. I don't know why I didn't move Twitch over there. So, oh well. And you didn't say that. No, the weird thing about this Authy is you can't even use a backup code. You have to verify using an existing device for whatever reason. And I don't know why. But luckily, I have that. I just need to wait for the person to come back. And then I can figure all of that out. So, whatever. I mean, who cares? But, yeah, we'll get going. We'll get going for the morning. But yeah, y'all are in EU. Nice. I'm a junior dev. All right. But I would like to ask, how do you get good at JS? No one's good at it. Basics, for example, reduce. Yeah, the first way to get good is to not use reduce because it's just kind of a waste of time. I don't know. For loops will take you a lot further than you might think. But yeah, solving algorithms, I don't think I ever really did that. I got deep on learning browser APIs and then learned JavaScript because of that. A less vague answer. I built websites without using frameworks like React or Vue or Svelte or any of those. I instead built a website with some goals in mind, and I Googled everything I needed to make it happen without a framework. And that was a super huge... this was back in COVID time, so I had the time. But that was probably the biggest jump in my knowledge of how everything works that I've had since I first used JavaScript. Those few months were the biggest few months for me. So that's why I recommend it to everyone. Don't go building your own framework and marketing it as this is the best framework, because we have too many at this point. But you should go build your own mini framework, mini library to pump out a website. If you do that, you'll learn a ton of stuff along the way, including JavaScript. And don't believe the React bros that say you learn JavaScript by writing React. You kind of do, but you don't really. You usually wrestle with React like 80% of the time, and then learn a couple JavaScript functions the other 20%. And they're usually not good ones either. So I don't subscribe to that. I don't think learning JavaScript through a framework is the best. I think learning JavaScript, fighting the browser and building your own libraries is the best way to learn JavaScript. 100%. I'm not a book learner. I'm not a tutorial person, so I don't have recommendations there. I brute force it. So that's my answer. I've been learning JS for the past 2 years. I've been on React, Angular. You already have been on multiple frameworks, which is amazing. People who stick with one framework really do learn the framework more than they do the language. But if you've learned more than one, then you start seeing the important parts. So that's good. That is definitely where I would, what I would recommend is learn multiple frameworks to get a few vantage points. And then you see where the actual parts are. But getting good at JS, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it really was brute forcing it for me and building my own mini library. Have you seen the mini talk on JS stupidity by Destroy All Software? No, that sounds fantastic. Link it. I will totally watch that. I'm not a React channel, so I'm not going to watch it live with you, but I will totally watch that. Too much framework equals JS fatigue. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't really know what to say about JS fatigue because I'm the nerd that is in the code for the code. So I love seeing all these new ideas. I love trying them. And it's why I use Astro, is I'm allowed to try all of them. Even multiple in the same app, just to play with it. A lot of people don't like that, though. They want to go in their job, they want to hear the one or two things that they need to know to build a good website, and then they clock out. And maybe they learn a thing or two in a side project. For the most part, when you're off hours, you're not coding. For those people, I get it. I'm the weirdo that likes seeing all of this. I know the creators of these frameworks at this point, and I love being able to know them and nerd out on ideas. So I don't talk about JS fatigue because I don't relate to it. I find it fun having all these ideas. I do. And if you feel JS fatigue, just stick with one idea and don't feel pressure to try any of the others because React is good enough and that is propelling a lot of things forward. So there you go. From 2012. Oh, I might actually know this one. Oh, it's WAT. Yeah. I've seen this one. It's good. It's good. This is a good little talk. I'll put it on the screen share as soon as I quit some apps so I don't dox myself. 1 second. I hate taking VODs down because of that. Y'all might know about one missing VOD in the past week because the effort of editing out certain bits, even using the YouTube online editor, is so high that it stops me from publishing. I will only publish a VOD if I don't have to edit anything. If I have to edit out one frame because I leaked a phone number, I just don't post it. It sucks. It sucks. All right, screen share. This is good. You don't even need the audio, I don't think. You don't need the audio. There's just a few beautiful examples in here. All right, so he's got A equals A, nil. That's a vibe. Where's the good ones? Oh, this is Ruby. Wait, is this Ruby? What? Is this oh yeah, it's a combination of different frameworks. I forgot that it was. Oh man. JS later, yeah. I mean, JS is an easy one to bash on. Oh yeah. I mean, this would be weird in JavaScript too. But yep, okay, that's object, totally. Nan, this. I don't remember why this is. I mean, this is not a number, and this is not a number. So type coercion, I don't know. I don't know why that would happen. Yeah, what kind of type coercion is going to cause that? Has anyone got an explanation? Yeah, that is a big old WAD right there. And what is JSC, by the way? I just run Node and run with it, but that's probably a way to get a browser emulation. Yeah, array 16, they're not actually values. Join. This makes sense so far. This still makes sense. What? -1. Okay, -1. Oh, yeah. This is a nice. Nice. Oh, and my screen's a little off, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Because this is going to subtract a character off the end, and this is going to stringify the number. It's such a mess. Yeah, JavaScript core. That sounds like the worst post-punk genre I've ever heard of. JavaScript core. Would not listen. But yeah, that's crazy that -1 is going to deal with characters. What's up with that? It doesn't make any sense. Still true today, yes. Pilcrow, there you are. I knew you'd pop in at some point. Hello. I don't announce my streams, and I know that's frustrating for people, but I don't know. It's the holidays. I think I have an excuse for now. I think a New Year's resolution is in the week leading up to me streaming, I know my schedule, and I push it out. Twitch does the job. It does put out the notifications, but it would be nice if, like, not a week in advance, but before the week starts, I can tell you I'm going to be live on these days, because it's not always consistent for me, because sometimes I have meetings in the mornings and I can't do it. Other times I don't, and I can. So I just need to have my schedule laid out. I'm not going to promise consistency. I'm just going to promise I'll probably be live around the same time, and I'm going to actually share what those days are. Ooh, okay, an answer on the empty array. Empty array plus empty object has changed. It has now become the string object. Okay, that seems more sensible than it was, but wait, that's almost the same thing. Not an empty object, okay. So that's arguably worse, but okay. Neat. Love it. We love that. Oh, also, one other thing on the making a framework point. This blog post is an absolute banger on understanding some of this stuff. Let's learn how modern JS frameworks work by building one. If you are in the position of trying to get better at JS, don't read the article. Go do it yourself. Then come back to this article. But it is so good. It summarizes how frameworks that aren't React, because React is weird, but it summarizes how other frameworks deal with how do you update parts of the page? How do you track state? How do you compute one bit of state from another bit of state? Actually, describing linkages there. Because there's a lot of weird stuff between creating effects and creating signals if you're using Solid or now Svelte. It's wacky. But they all use roughly the same setup, which is templates for HTML is going to change, and proxies to track when objects are going to change. And that's kind of it. But the article goes super in-depth on all of those things. So, if you heard my little talk about build your own framework and you found it enticing, I mean, this is a good read. Thanks for the video, man. It is so good. Yeah. Bookmark that video. That is something that keeps coming up. Because I did watch it a few years ago, and then I watched it again, and it's still good. And now, even just watching it without audio, it's still good. JavaScript is still a mess, and it always will be. It's a beautiful mess. One other thing, I have music playing, but I'm going to add an audio input here. If y'all don't know, I was using YouTube Music for a little bit, and I have decided since then to go back to Spotify. I really wanted YouTube Music to work, but I don't know if it's worth its own tweet or something. But I have thoughts on using YouTube Music versus Spotify. And I kind of want to talk about it. I'll talk about it at some point, but I want to get to the stream. I want to get to the good stuff. Yeah, and let me also mess with my audio levels here. Okay. Yep. Is this good? Is the music good right now? Because this is the max volume for whatever I'm listening to. Is this good? Or is this too loud? I was watching one of the mentors one day, and he just said to us, don't try to make things perfect. You have to know when something is enough. Otherwise, you will mostly ruin it for you and everybody else. Pretty much. That's pretty much it. I think I'm going to copy this and just paste it into a notebook right now. I actually am. Do you have the name of the professor? Because I might use that quote at some point. But I really like that. Yeah, I'm just going to paste this right here. A little bit of wisdom. Can I paste without formatting? Dang it, Apple stickies, you're terrible. But yeah, that's a good quote. Because I've thought about that before. Because I had kind of an existential crisis. Well, I had a few. Worrying about AI replacing literally everything good and fun in the world. And then another crisis about, is Astro stupid to pursue because React already owns the world and everyone's okay with it being good enough? I don't know. But I think that touches on the second point. At some point, you can over-engineer something. And I want to go back to whatever is good enough, which to me is, I mean, this is too insider baseball for y'all to understand probably. But TLDR, I use Astro in a very basic way. I render some HTML to your browser, and when you need to change it, I put a form on the page. I let the form post some information back to my server, and I let my server send new HTML to the page. Controversial idea. It's how the pioneers did it. But it made me realize there's ways to make that feel real nice. There's ways to let you use React Views Felt or whatever, because Astro does that. And we don't have to invent an entirely new server component system like React is doing. It is good enough. To me, server components are kind of ruining this mental model we had, where it's really easy to understand servers. And now it's getting real hard to understand what your server is doing. And I'd like to go back to something simpler that is good enough. It's got flaws, for sure. It's super naive, but it's kind of good enough. Astro for apps is good enough, is my loose thesis. Because you can understand it. And there's value in understanding your code. Even if it means the code runs slower, there's value in understanding your code. There just is. Okay. To the Tailwind. To the Tailwind. This project here is my personal site that I am cursed to never finish. I'm never going to finish this, probably. Because every time I revisit it, it's been a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe a couple months. And in that time, I have new perspective on how I want to build things if I ever do a greenfield project. And that makes me want to refactor the code I already have instead of actually finishing the dang project. I do this a lot. And I'm doing it again by deciding, you know what? You were having fun slinging CSS, but I built a few projects on Tailwind now. I'm getting used to their light mode and dark mode and all of the other things. And I'm deciding that I'm just going to go deep as heck on using Tailwind for all the things, just so I can feel out the best way to use Tailwind. That's all I want to do. I want to go Tailwind, and maybe next year I refactor it all again to open props or whatever the heck else. But that's what I want to do, because I'm starting to build general purpose libraries around the stuff I build. I have a form library now that I'm using on more and more things. I'm making it more and more complex, even though it's called simple form. I also have scope, which is a fun little way to scope variables. That's been working fine. I'd call that feature complete. I'm going to have other things like partial re-rendering, which may find a home on this website, maybe not. I have no idea. Is this your blog? It's my personal site / blog, yeah. The problem is the bar is so high on my site right now. It is so high because this website looks so nice that it just takes forever to say, you know what? I finally built something that is good enough to replace this. It's going to take so long to get there, and I know it. Because this is such a distinct style. It's got good looks. It's just not me. And the pages like the works page that highlight a bunch of college projects, that's not me either. I know this. But still, it's going to take a while to replace all of this magic. It just is. Oh, well. I was watching one of my mentors. Oh, yeah, that was your quote. It is good. Don't abstract until you need to. Kind of, sorta. But it's not even abstraction. It's reaching for libraries that already do a bunch of things for you. And it's infeasible to build everything yourself. It's probably the worst idea to use libraries for everything. There's some balance that no one ever strikes, really. So it's tough. It's not just don't abstract. It sometimes is betting on a framework. It's betting on an entire library that might be doing it the wrong way. You didn't even write the abstractions. You just installed them. So it's tough. It's really, really tough. If you look at the spec for parsing number, oh man, to numbers, you'll see that each has a different algorithm. It's faster. Insane one that doesn't slightly ignore some mistakes. You can benchmark. Oh no, I don't want to know. Yeah, I'm sure it gets really complicated. This one is super cool. Yeah, that's the problem. It looks great. I'm so mad that it looks good. I'm so mad about that. Because there's a few problems with this. First, just the general information on the page is outdated. Yes. The framework it's built on is super rickety and outdated, so I need to migrate that. And also, I want light and dark mode, because every website I go to is generally dark mode these days, so I want to do that. And to pretty much overhaul all the information on the website, to add light and dark mode, and to change some personality bits, like making this a whiteboard instead of a charcoal drawing. That all takes time. It takes time. It does. And I need to decide how much of it is actually necessary and how much is just spinning my wheels. And I still haven't really decided. What framework? It's built on 11D and a bunch of wacky libraries that I owned. It has really, really rough ideas for what eventually became Slinkity, and I'm not even going to talk about that. But you can get a rundown of the framework here. There's a ton of ideas that I was pretty proud of at the time that I would not recommend anymore. Like, I invented a little page transition setup that at this point you do not need, because the browser now has transitions and view transitions, and this is just a massive waste of tooling and time. Data page was an interesting idea to kind of have layouts so that it only replaces parts of the page that changed. Again, outdated, because view transitions kind of do this for you. And it also breaks down in really, really simple ways. If you just have like a nav bar that needs to re-render when you go between pages, this breaks because you just can't update it. Like, there's really big gaps in there. I used SCSS, and I came up with a style scoping idea based on the layout you're using. Kind of cool, but again, I wouldn't raw dog CSS anymore. I've grown out of it. I raw dogged CSS for a decade, and now I'm kind of having fun with Tailwind, so I'm going somewhere else. MJS, I didn't use TypeScript because I didn't want to bundle TypeScript. The code is a bit of a mess. It's fine. It's all right. It's not terrible. The file structure is a bit nutty. None of these are naming conventions that I would use anymore, but I did have page-based routing. I did have some of these conventions, and I had some utils at the bottom. If you're interested in it, you can go there, but this is what I talked about when I said, this is what made me good at JavaScript, was building this. Because 11D just builds templates. It doesn't bundle JavaScript. It doesn't bundle CSS. It doesn't handle any of the things you're probably used to. It just helps you bundle some Markdown and render some routes. That is all it does. So I think as a starting point to learn some stuff, this is a really good idea. Oh, look at this. Add a Mastodon redirect. I don't have a Mastodon. Oh, I guess I do have a Mastodon, but I never use it. So that was a mistake. Oh, well. But yeah. If you want to go there for some inspiration, go ahead. But this is where I learned pretty much everything. And when did I write it? Last year, 2 years ago? Yeah, that sounds about right. Lucia still doesn't have dark mode. Yeah, and it's annoying, Pilcrow, and you should add it. I'm not saying you need it, but I am saying I prefer it a lot, so I want to add it. Most of the abstraction is done with best practices. If you follow dry principle, blah, 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 you eventually make it an abstraction. If you see three functions need the same argument, you can create observable. Yes, 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 yes. I think that you realize you should copy-paste a good 2, 3, 4 times before you actually abstract something. The fact that you're harping on dry tells me, I don't know if this is true, but maybe do more copy-pasting in your code, as weird as it feels. Don't abstract as much as dry would tell you to do. Copy-paste a few times. Because you realize, even though this is copy-pasted right now, in a few months, they look like completely different bits of code. Because you realized in one place, that copy-paste needed to change a lot. And this other place, copy-paste didn't change. So, yeah, don't dry yourself into oblivion. So this is a library that's based on Markdown in order to make the entire thing? Kinda, sorta? I don't know if that's the best way to say it. So the entire thing is built on like a templating language called Pug, which is a really old and wacky templating language that no one should use. But I used it for fun. and profit. And, okay, no profit. But yeah, you can see it's just this really weird templating language for HTML. It was fun. I wouldn't do it again. But yeah, it's a wild, wild ride. I've been thinking about Go full stack. All right. I know you've been working on that. And you should. You should go deeper. You should go a lot deeper. You should get to the heart of that one. Okay, anyways, let me start up my website just to show you all what we're working with. And I'm also going to resize my screen share because this is getting real annoying. Okay, so we have a debugger here as we're trying to get this whiteboard working. We have the switcher that we built, now with a light dark mode, and it looks pretty good, I think. We have our blog index, which doesn't look great, but we have our blog page, which looks quite nice because of this right here. Boom, boom. I mean, there's the starting. We're starting to build something that looks nice, but it's still in pockets. It's like, ooh, we work on this one part, and then we kind of fall out of favor. And then we work on this other part, and then we kind of forget about it. Yeah, but you can see here we do have a couple nice things. Like this nav bar that, it used to kind of show and hide when you scroll to the top of the page. I broke that when I rewrote it in Alpine, because of course I refactored everything to Alpine, like an idiot. And now I'm going to do Tailwind. What is wrong with me? Why isn't the title and paragraph not aligned? They are aligned. I don't know what you're talking about. There's probably padding on the... There's probably padding that I put on the article and didn't put on the heading. That's my guess. I could probably fix that. 1 second. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe. Wait. So does the content have padding? Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm an idiot. Why did I put that there? Yeah, I'm silly. Let's just put it on the main tag. Yeah. And I'm also challenged to only use NeoVim. It's just things on top of things that make this project not fun. Oh, come on. That didn't even work. That didn't even work. Now it's just a mess. Oh, I see why it happened. Because I want to have margin auto, but I also want to have... Well, this should be padding. That's the answer. This should be padding. Padding inline. That's what it should be. Yeah, there we go. Fixed. Thank you. Style, article, padding. There you go. Okay, so this thing is built on open props right now, which isn't a bad library by any means. It's just a lot of typing to get things done. It is. And it doesn't have a great color palette, which has bothered me for a little bit. Tailwind has a really robust color palette that you can refine to have like primary and accent and whatever design tokens you need. And OpenProps has something similar, but they messed up. They messed up the color grade. And I've heard this complaint before, and I'm kind of sad they haven't fixed it. But you'll notice these are the colors, right? These are the levels that you have. But you'll notice at the bottom here, even the darkest version of a color is not that dark. And this really bites you when you start using this library, because you're like, I need a darker blue, but it only gets to here. And this is way different than this. It needs to get darker than it does. And you'll also notice that there's not a nice set of grays. There's kind of there's this set of grays, which looks pretty good. But I noticed that Tailwind has 2 sets of grays that are different amounts of blue, which works really, really well together. And this library just doesn't. You also notice that the dark gets a little darker for some reason for the gray, but it doesn't get dark for the colors, which is a bit messy. So yeah, it really bothers me. Slate, that's the color I was thinking of, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like what they did, but I'm just a bit annoyed. Something I do like, though, is surfaces. Surface is a really smart idea that lets you sort of have different elevations of things. Like you can see here, we have 3 shades of gray. We have the darkest background, then we have a palette, and then we have a box on top of it. You would call these different surfaces. Where this is surface 1, which is the furthest back. Then you have surface 2, which is a layer on top, and it's a little lighter. And then surface 3, which is lighter still. So this concept is really nice, and it's something I would add to a Tailwind config to say surface 1, and that's the background. Surface 2, that's something in front of the background. And you can wire it up that way, which is really nice. Yeah, I do like how it has that baked in. But yeah, the colors aren't great. You're still typing a bunch of CSS. I didn't think that would bother me because I've typed CSS forever. But especially while I'm using NeoVim, which makes typing harder than it is normally for me, Tailwind would definitely speed me up. So I think I should do that. There's gray, zinc, slate, and stone. Oh my god, there's 4? Yeesh. There were only 2 that I actually used, which were gray and slate. I didn't know about stone. I think that one's like the pure gray that doesn't have any blue in it. In zinc, I have no idea what that looks like, but cool. Yeah. So given that, don't forget neutral. Oh my god, there's a neutral. There's a neutral, Jesus. So, given everything I just said, I think we're going to switch over to Tailwind so we can start learning how to make a nice Tailwind config and feel out some good patterns here. So let's do that. The starting point is adding Tailwind. And in Astro, that is quite easy to do. Astro, add Tailwind. Pretty cool. And we're also going to need to... Okay, yes. Yes. We're also going to need, I don't know. We're going to need to figure out our color palettes and how they match up with Tailwind. Because right now I have a few purples that are hard-coded, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with them. Let's just do an Astro Dev right now and figure out where I'm going to put this. And also I need to add a content config. There's a bunch of little things that I could add to this. Oh, my keyboard shortcuts don't work. Why? Okay. Don't go to spectrum.com. Go to spectacle, which should let me... There we go. Yeah, so I'm just going to let this squish down. Oh my god, the heading gets really small. What's up with that? Oh, Tailwind normalization. So we got to deal with that too. Usually, this is going to be a difference between how I usually do CSS and how you do Tailwind. You don't do styling at a global level. You don't say all H3s have this font size. You instead say, here's a heading component. Heading accepts a set of levels, maybe. And this applies different Tailwind classes depending on what you want. And that helps you divide like your primary, your secondary heading. And it also helps you, make an H2 the same size as an H3, but because of hierarchy, it's different. Like, there are those nuances that are nice to handle with the component instead of just styling all the H1s in a certain way. It's something I'm learning, and I didn't really believe in before, but I kind of believe in it now. Style component with different variants for each heading type. Yes, pretty much. I mean, I'm not using styled components, because I don't want to ship JavaScript for no reason, and I don't like writing backticks for my CSS. Okay, I went through my style components phase. I have moved on. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to refactor it one section at a time. We can start with maybe the home page. So we have an article tag right here. Let's go ahead and add in a class. And you can just say class in Astro because we're cool like that. And we're going to turn on word wrap, because once you start writing Tailwind, ooh boy, do you have word wrap. So first thing that we can do is max width prose, which is 65 chars, pretty much what we want. We're going to do M-auto, we're going to do flex. I bet there's a refactoring tool that would make this even faster. But we'll say like gap 4. And that gets rid of all of this right here. So if we do that, we can check that out. And it looks roughly the same. It's also bouncing for some reason. I don't know why it's bouncing, but I probably have some like jiggle physics that are applied to like everything right now. So I need to work on that probably. But yeah, we also have our main tag right here. And that's going to be like text. Do you have to say text size? I can never remember this one for whatever reason. I think it's just font. Oh my god, what is it? Is that it? Y'all, what is font? What is font? It's like, it's been a year since I used Tailwind, but I don't remember any bouncing. Oh, I added that. Don't worry about that. I added some CSS variables to make it bouncy. That's just how I made my stuff look. And that is allowed. So, oh, this is the base page. I'm not even on the right page. Let's see what the home page looks like now. Okay, yeah, so I think this is large text. I could be wrong, though. Let's do that. Okay, yeah. I think that's right. And I don't even know why I need this, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, you suck. There. Ah! I'm bad at Vim, okay? Font is for font family. Yeah, it is. It's a little funny. It's easier with CVA. It's still not nice. Well, yeah, y'all are prop spreading weirdos. Yeah, when you want to deal with duplicate classes in Tailwind, or just classes that kind of conflict, you have to use an external library to figure out, are these classes kind of going to overlap these ones? This happens when you have component props, where your component says text medium, and then you pass in a class name text large, and you apply both of them side by side. But that means in your CSS, you have text medium and text large being applied at the same time. If you just, spread it in the right order, it'll look right. But now you have all these unused Tailwind classes that are just uncaught from the merge. So you need a library that can reconcile classes that are styling the same thing in a different way. That's where CVA and other wrappers come in. Text Mead doesn't exist. Text Mead exists. It just isn't needed because that's the default. That's my only reason. Nothing wrong with the little prop spreading. Nothing's wrong with it. It is just more to do. And I've never liked writing CSS in a JavaScript object because you end up in really weird corners where you're just writing like a string with box shadow. You have like box shadow and then you have something like that. But you're writing it all with maybe no syntax highlighting, maybe you have it set up, but just writing that in a string instead of CSS is dumb to me. Now, Tailwind breaks this too. I'm well aware of that. The Tailwind syntax to write custom box shadows is worse than this. But in those situations, I just reach for a style tag because Astro lets you do that, and this will be scoped. So if I need to break out of the system, I just write a style tag and I put it there. It's not that hard. So yeah, I don't like writing my CSS in a JavaScript object. That's just a fundamental issue for me. And I know that's kind of limiting, but it's the truth. Oh, there's text base. Okay, I thought there would be a difference. But can you write a custom text size like text? Yes, you can. And I don't mind that. I think there's just a certain degree where you're writing all these underscores to join together things, like a custom linear gradient or a custom drop shadow. Those just get really, really long, and they're really hard to read. They're super easy to screw up. So I just don't like writing those levels of customization. I would probably put a style tag, or I hate putting things in a Tailwind theme if they're only used once, but I might even do that. I don't know. Yeah. The default is text-based. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah. And this Rive object, we're just not going to worry about that. There's no reason to have this anymore. I'll just leave it there. You don't have to ask what that is. Oh, boy. Yeah, I accidentally did something there. Oops. Yep. Whoops. There. Sheesh. All right, now that's looking normal. So let's move on to our next page. We have the index page. That isn't doing much. Oh, I don't have that many styles yet. So we have our slug, which is also doing a very familiar thing. So we're going to say class equals max width pros, m auto, and px. I wish that this used inline and block. Those are CSS properties that I really enjoy. Tailwind does not use them. Oh, well. Another thing about OpenPros, by the way, the jump between size 2 and size 3 is enormous. I found a couple parts of my app where the padding was either too big or too small and there was no in between. That bothered me. And Tailwind, again, they get the scaling right. I wish OpenProps just did exactly what Tailwind did for colors and sizing and all of that. but it doesn't. They're a little bit different. Okay, and this is where you get into just some funny stuff. I think Tailwind has like a default prose plugin to make all of this work. I don't mind just writing a little bit of inline CSS for this, though. I don't mind doing it. I'm even going to do an add apply, probably. So, like, add apply, This is probably just going to be something like that, right? You can also use the theme object, but add apply here is going to be okay. And I'm not on the right page. Let me go to the right page to make sure everything is working. But if we head over here, yeah, we've got a little bit of stuff. And we also probably want that for the headings. So I could use an is, or I could just keep doing this. It doesn't really make a difference. But I'll say that something like that. I think it's H2s, actually. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna reach for the Tailwind Prose plugin. Typography, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, the official CSS provides a set of prose classes to add typographic defaults. Yeah, because I kind of just don't care about dealing with all these margins. I just kind of don't care. Yeah, and you can say large prose XL. Interesting. To add sensible typographic styles. Choose a grayscale. Prose slate. Oh, interesting. This plugin modifier class. Yeah, because their own docs uses some grays instead of using pure white. So, yeah, you can also do size modifiers. That's interesting. You can do this kind of stuff if you care more about that. Huh. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this because there's nothing wrong with this. And I'll add a second terminal, stack it up. And if we head to our Tailwind configuration, we'll add require. Yeah, it knows that's probably like the most popular plugin. We found a reference to public code in a recent suggestion. That's so funny. So now that's a warning. Interesting. Just to make sure you're not doing something illegal, it'll tell you. Interesting. But yeah, let's head over here and add the prose. Oh, interesting. So this tells you everything that it's going to do. Wow, there's a lot of things going on here. Yeah, styling lists. Oh, what are these types? I have no idea what these types are. Upper alpha. I've never seen this in my life. This is a lot of CSS. This is a lot more than I expected. There's block quotes. There's everything. So we'll see how this works. I have no idea what we're in for. Oh, and cool. All my types broke. Love that. Why would they work? I wouldn't expect them to work. That wouldn't make any sense. Why would all of my types just work? That would be crazy. Oh, okay. So that's horrifying. The spacing is right, but everything else is wrong. And where did my types go? Why did they all just break all at once? They're still here. Yeah, they're still here. Heck. Types are still here. You're drunk. Restart developer host. Who needs types anyways? Just write JS. All right, DHH. Okay, why? Why is this happening? Why did my TypeScript just break on me? Well, I'm gonna delete my generated types and restart the dev server. I haven't dealt with this before. This is a shame. But yeah, let's go ahead and restart that. No, the types are just broken. No, they're just gone. Why? What's your problem? Yeah, any entry map. Yeah, show me where it's defined. Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. I'm staring at the type. The type is correct. I'm quitting. I did. I restarted the entire extension host, actually. Thank God I didn't leak a password just then. Thank God they protect you. Thank God. Sheesh. Okay. What is going on? I stared at the type. I looked at the belly of the beast, and the type was fine. Yeah, now it works. Pfft. Okay, fine. VS Code had a fit. It happens. We know your password length. No! I'm screwed. It's over. It's freaking over, man. Okay, so I think we need a light and dark mode. Check. Ooh, I also just need to, in general, remove all of the normalizers from OpenProp so we can get an accurate view of how this stuff looks. So I'm going to head to my layout. And, oh yeah, we have all of these. Yeah, we started doing font sizes, and I'm going to migrate these to a Tailwind theme because I love variable font sizes, but I don't think we can use it. Yeah, we don't want style, and we don't want normalize. We might want the easing curves, though, because we were using those a second ago. All right, there we are. Now we're back to a sort of sensible, normal place. And we want to respect light and dark mode, which means on the body, scrollable body, because we have this shared state going on here, I want to say, oh, God, what? Oh, I also need relative line numbers, don't I? Relative. There we are. Yeah, we're vimming it up now. Okay. Nice. And we'll say class equals, I don't know. Yeah, BG Gray 950. Nice. And we also want to set it to something like that, right? And for pros, this gets a little bit more confusing. I've never used this library, so I need to figure out what this actually does. Ooh, I also need to remove this. Yeah, we're removing that. This was a bit of an opinion. Maybe I keep it around. I don't know. We have some variables there. Yeah, we'll keep that for now. But I got to head over to my slug to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do. No range allowed. I don't know what that means. But yeah, let's collapse some windows as well, because I need some room to type. I'm here for my free 6 months. Fuzzy, nice. Man. Have your password manager open when you start screen sharing. It's truly living on the edge. I mean, we opened it because of the Twitch thing. I forgot. But you're totally right. That is... It takes courage. It takes courage. I don't know what this does. Nothing. Is there a dark mode? Adopting a dark mode. Pros invert. Pros invert. Sounds good to me. Let's see it. Nice. Okay, sick. Oh, and now I need to set my font families. Makes sense, makes sense. Merry Christmas, Ben. And I hope you had a great day. Thank you. And Santa was kind to you all. Santa is very kind to everyone. And me. So thank you for that. I love that. Okay, and it looks like this is an off-white, which is exactly what I want. I just want to make sure that it is. Computed, color. Yeah, it's a little off-white. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, these are all reasonable margins. They might be a little bit chubby, but I don't mind it. And we also want to maybe style the headings with the default value. I like not using a heading component every which way because that is just so stupidly engineered. I think for font sizes, you need that. For font families, I don't think you do. Let's take a look at this. And we also need, yeah, font heading and font body. These are two potential Tailwind themes right here. Yeah, what do you actually, how does a Tailwind theme work? Okay, font family, yeah. Something like this. Copy that. Cool. Yeah, I think that's right, right? I don't know. And then this is the body. Oh, I keep tabbing the wrong way for some reason. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, so now we have heading and body. And let me actually show y'all the way you're supposed to do it, supposedly. Oh, sorry about that. My whiteboard's in the way. Do you use the clamp function for fluid font sizes? I sure do. And I'm going to modify my Tailwind theme to use these instead. Shout out to the best way to generate these variables. Fluid type scale. Yes, baby. This is built with 11D and my framework for embedding React in 11D. I'm very proud of it. Oh, sorry. That was a permalink to the exact setup that I have, I think. But look at this. Fluid type scale calculator. You tell it some information. And it has some sensible defaults to give you this right here. And you can play with it to see what it'll look like. I use that resource too. Hey, where'd you find it? I'm just curious. Because this was something that actually got some love on Twitter and elsewhere. But I'm surprised it's out in the wild. Heck yeah. It's a great little website, for sure. And also, I'm wondering if I can wire these up in my CSS and let the Tailwind theme reference the CSS variables, because I hate having magic strings in here. I hate it. It would be cool if I could just say font, family, heading, var font heading, you know what I mean? That would be awesome. And I bet I can do this. So I'm just going to do that. And now I'm going to jump into my my base layout. I'll head down here. I'll say font size. And here's something interesting. You can say theme. And I think you have to add post CSS to this. Yeah. Yeah, and now you can say font family dot heading. Nice, right? It didn't work, but it is nice. Okay, so what did that actually do? We applied the heading theme, which apparently applies this, but it's in a string. That worries me. I don't think that actually works. Let's see what it's doing. I doubt it's actually working. Let's see. Okay, font size, font weight, font size. Font family, not even here. Not even on the radar right now. Let's go to the home page. Oh yeah, and my padding's borked. A lot of things are going to be borked for a second, and that's okay. So it looks like the heading, at the very least, is the right font, but I bet this is manually applied. Yeah, it is. Oh, well. But yeah, what's up with this? We've got our base layout. It's applying a heading. Just to make sure that things are working, I'm going to say color red. Yeah, that works. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that is actually working. So this is being overridden by something? Yeah, that is how you do it. That's good. But what's the issue? Yeah. This is just telling me what font size is. Can you tell me what's wrong? Like, why would that not be applied? So we have font size there, But then we have font size applied later. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I called it font size instead of font family. That makes a lot of sense. Family. There we go. Hey, all right, that's working. Nice. All right, so now we have font families. Feels good. I'm happy about that. And if we head over to blog, my title, yeah, now we have our font sizes applied. Sick. There is one more tool like this in CSS Tricks. Yeah, I was looking, did the job for me. Okay, it was in CSS Tricks. Nice. That would explain it. Yeah, browsers support clamp enough for me to just use it without any fallbacks. I can double check it, but I remember clamp had pretty good coverage. Yeah, it's got pretty good coverage. IE 11 obviously not, but everything else, it's been there for a while. It's only been in Safari 17, so if you're on older Safari devices, you might run into issues. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that. That's enough for me. So let's play with this a little bit more. We have our style set up. These margins are fat as heck. I'm really debating if I like these margins because there's some big margins, man. There's some big margins relative to the font size. Font size should maybe be bigger. I don't know. So yeah, we have our clamps over here. Let's see if we can at least play with font size. Can we override all of them? Yeah, we can. I don't think we have a 4XL, but I could be wrong. Oh, this is how we named it. Yeah, let's change that. That is the problem with fluid typescale, is we might have to rename a couple things for it to be Tailwind friendly. Ah, what did I do? That's how I need to edit text. Okay. Now we head over here. Delete that. Is that working? Well, I guess we just have them applied, so it's not gonna do a lot. Is it resizing right now? I don't think so. So we overrode our font sizes. Is this using what I think it's using? I'll start by looking at the heading. Inspect that heading. I don't think medium exists. Yeah, just use base. Okay, it looks like prose defines its own font sizes. I don't think it's actually going to use what I think it's going to use. It's a bit weird. You can do it like this. These are colors. Tailwind text opacity. Yeah, it looks like font size is just kind of computed. Based on something. Based on magic number that I can't really explain. It's just the same font size for all screen sizes, I think. Let's see if it squishes down. It really doesn't. That kind of sucks. Restart your server? It restarts for me. But I will. I don't think it's working, though. I think that prose has its own opinions, and it's just not going to do it. But if we head to our homepage, we should be able to see it. Oh my god, this slide out is going to be the death of me. That is so annoying. I'm just trying to resize my dang browser, man. Okay, it might be working, because I see a slight jiggle, which tells me I'm probably animating something that I shouldn't be animating. But let's see. We have a paragraph. Well, we have our root element, at least. I don't think it's actually styling those. That's okay, though. If we head over to base layout and apply it manually, we might be able to get it. Let's take a look. Scrollable body, click into that. Yeah. Text size. And if I hover, what do I get? I do get what I want. That's kind of cool. Hey, I think it's working. Come on, resize. Yeah, it's resizing. Pretty sure. Pretty freaking sure. Everything about the provided size modifiers has been hand-tuned by professional designers to look as beautiful as possible, including the relationship between font sizes, heading spacing, coding spaces, and more. Hush. It's my blog. I like variable font sizes. I want it to scale on mobile to a different font size. And y'all don't do that. You also gave me really chunky margins that do not look nice and do not look well designed. It looks like I used a template that doesn't work. Overall, I disagree with you, Tailwind. I think I need to tweak what you gave me, which is fine. They gave me a lot of modifier classes to do that. But don't get on your high horse saying that this looks good, because objectively, it doesn't. It looks bad, and I need to fix it. I don't know what to do. Okay, so let's also add a heading component, I think. Is that how we want to do these, like, in-brief headings or whatever? Well, we do have an in-brief.astro, so let's just style this by hand. You know? Whatever. We'll say class, text, lug. Text lug. Maybe it should be text tixel. Let's take a look at that. That is aggressive. Yeah. It feels like the gap between large and XL is too big. I probably did that wrong, but oh well. Yeah, and if it does scale up, though. So I guess I don't mind it that much. Yeah, we'll keep it. And then we have personal mode, recruiter mode, whatever the heck. Those are just the same font size, I think. Ooh, but this is where we really get into refactoring town. So let's actually do a split view to get these guys side by side. And let's scroll up here to see what we can make happen. We're styling all of the labels to be a certain style. This is where single file components breaks down, because I would love to have multiple components in this file that can break out the Tailwind magic, but unfortunately I can't do that. They convinced me with this. I'm not a professional designer, so I might bite it. I get it. I'm not a professional either. But I do have some sensibilities about design. And my sensibilities tell me that this could look better. It could look better. Let's start with this label. And it looks like we only have one, so this is easy to do. We'll say font bold. Yes? And I don't mind writing these by hand instead of using some generator, because I do want to learn the Tailwind equivalents for things. Grid. This is where I'm like, what do you do for grid template areas? Because I love doing grid template areas in my CSS. In fact, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm not going to do this. Well, let me take a look. Tailwind. Do people do this? Yeah, they just don't do it. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to write my own styles for grid template areas. Thank you very much. So we'll say gap, and I just hand-tuned that because I didn't have a framework at the time. The problem is this dev tool is overlapping the code that I'm trying to copy. There we go. Just by between, font, size, sorry, font. Yeah, the font size can be large, actually, because I think that's roughly what we're doing. And we'll say, that's a line item center. Letter spacing I changed a little bit. That's interesting. I don't know why I did that. But I'm going to leave it off, because I just don't know why I would need that. It's kind of an odd choice. Yeah, why do I want that? Yeah, I don't know why I want letter spacing right now. But, okay. And we'll do that. Sounds good. So now with that, we can delete pretty much all of this. Except for these two classes, which are still kind of a question mark. Okay. So now these are smaller. That makes sense. And if we head back to our base layout, I can explain this a little bit. We have a base, a medium, and a large. Tailwind just has base and large, which, to be honest, that's how it should be. I don't like how Fluid Typescale broke these out into different things because they mean the same. It shouldn't work like that. So let me actually have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to change this to be large. Whoa, big move. And I'm going to scale all of these up by 1. Because we need a 4XL anyways, right? This will require a little tweaking, but you'll notice you also have this cool little thing you can do. Control A and Control X are ways to increment and decrement numbers. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. But you can see I can like increment and decrement a number in Tailwind. It's kind of cool. Or sorry, in NeoVim. Or just Vim. Okay, now we have it set up properly. So there's no more base. I don't even think we're using 4XL, but oh no. There we go. Oh my God, why are you typing? Ah, stop it. I hit escape like a bajillion times, and it's still, I don't know what I'm doing. Tailwind config, please. 4XL, 4XL, dang it. The problem is it thinks the dash is a negative, so it flips things. It's really silly. But let's head back to in brief, baby. This has just a few things going on. And also this inspector is just making my brain explode. I need to breathe. There we go. You're missing Arch. No, thank you. No rice. I built my own, but I left for now. Lava Blog. Lava Blog. That's a good name. Fuzzy, take care of your back. What are you doing? After that, you can go Twitch full time. There's no money in that, so no, I don't think so. 5th blog. Hey, man, pretty nice. Pretty nice little blog. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so what do I need to do next? I mean, this is all looking pretty good. Letter spacing, I'm still unsure. Like, why do I want that? Oh my God, please just do the thing. Oh, I see. So I spaced it out to be a little bit more just chunky to take up more space. Oh my God, the undo and redo is not kind to me right now. Yeah, I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep it. It makes it look a little bit more like a heading. So that's fine by me. And we're also going to mess with the sizing on this guy. So now we're going to make this just XL. And we're going to make this font XL. Where are you? Oh, I'm looking at my CSS. It's all in line now. I'm never going to get used to that. Okay, nice. That looks pretty good. For whatever reason, this looks no bigger than this, though. This is supposedly text XL, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, I called it font large, like an idiot. There we go. Yeah, that looks perfect. Now we'll head down to label personale. Yes. And we'll say color accent. Ooh, interesting. So I have an accent color, which should probably be in my Tailwind config as something special. Let's open up our base. Dang it. I knew this wasn't going to work. Okay. I'm so used to using the leader key. I'm so used to using space, but it's actually the command key in VS Code. I'm just not used to it. My NeoVim muscles are melding with VS Code, and it just doesn't feel right now. Okay, and we also... Oh, we don't need these, because now those are wired up to theming. I do love this, though, having a Tailwind theme that references variables instead of magic stringing your way to victory. Because now I get CSS syntax highlighting, a little sanity check. I'm just into it. I'm into it. And you can also do some calculations like purple HS and then purple, and then you take any of those to be a CSS variable. Like here, I broke out the hue and saturation, so you can make different opacities of the same color. Like in dark mode, the purple needs to be more purpley than in light mode. It needs to be darker in light mode. It's just color science, baby. I don't actually know what I'm doing, but color science. Color science. Ah, dang it. I keep doing the leader key, and I don't know why. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to get used to it. we will do a color. I think it'll be a background color, right? It'll also be a text color, though. Yeah, text color. Accent is actually going to reference a var. It should be accent color. I agree with that, but I don't want to overdo my refactor. I don't want to rename things while refactoring, because that's where you just break all of your code by accident. So don't do that, kids. Don't do that. We'll do the same thing for BG, or background color, yeah. And we'll say accent var. And to be honest, the accent color is actually the primary color, so I don't know why I did it that way. But the reason I did a CSS variable is I want to change the accent color depending on the section you're in, because it just makes it more fun to have like different colors for different places. This is something I did on my personal site right now, where you can see, oh man, that's a little broken. But you can see, like, for the first section, everything is green, right? It's all green. Then you head to the orange section, and it's all orange. And then you head to the purple section, it's all purple. And I'm leaning into a theme that I have on my whiteboard website, where everything is a different magic marker color. And I want to use that, where each section is going to be like a different marker, literally a different color, because it's whiteboarding, right? Whiteboard is the theme. So for that, I want to have a CSS variable that changes depending on the section you're in. That's all I mean. Oh, God. I'm listening to my own video. Stop playing. But yeah, that's roughly what I want to do. And I'm going to head back over here to make that happen. This was label personal. And now I should be able to say text accent, I think. But you change it depending on the state, so that's also going to be something weird. I have a fun selector that I'm not going to be able to use, but oh well. We have text accent, and then you have grid, area. Nope, they don't have grid areas. Tailwind just said, nope, we don't do grid areas around here. That's okay, I guess. This is where I'm very thankful I have CSS at my disposal. But yeah, we're gonna have to leave these in, because there's no other way to do this. To be honest, I think I'm just going to leave all of this in. I'm not even going to migrate that to Tailwind. I just want to keep it there. Now, the switch can totally be, this can totally be inside of here. No problem. I leave Tailwind to do the diddly stuff. Yeah, and then I stick it in a single class with apply. Kind of. I'm sorry to say this, but the whiteboard is in the way. It is in the way of your stuff, yes. I know this. So let me actually move me. I'm going to move me over here. There we go. And I'm going to move chat. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Just for now. I think I can also crop off the top a little bit. There you go. Nice. So now I'm over here. I'm looking the wrong way. Maybe I can even mirror flip my image. Yeah. Ooh, look at me go. So yeah, now we should be in a better spot. I'm covering my own website, but I can just move that. That's not a big deal. Or maybe I can't. Well, you can see what I'm working on. I'm working on this switch. Hey, Ben. That's Ben. It me. It me. I'm Guy. I'm person. Yeah. Just in case anyone forgets, you know. Sometimes you gotta add a label. You gotta add an ARIA label to that, right? ARIA label. Just in case y'all get confused, you know. Oh, it's mirrored. Ah, oh, no. Who's Neb? My arch nebicist. It's Neb. Dark Ben. Scary Ben. Yeah. Hey, Neb. Now we have to leave it. Yeesh. Oh, man. That's good. That's good. Y'all were quick on your feet with that one. Okay. Okay. What am I doing? I don't know. I sized this to be perfection. 1M. Sounds good. And I want it to be what? Oh, we have a border radius that's also very specific. I think you can just say rounded full and it will work. Because that was the goal there. Oh, go away. And we want to do flex, right? Want to do flex, justify center, relative. You can't do grid areas. The border radius. Yeah, what am I doing with border radius? I have like 3 border radiuses in here. What was I doing? Okay, and the background is just a super wacky thing. Sounds good. I do like whacking out some styles if I can. So we don't need any of these. We do need those, though. Sounds good. Cool. Yep, and that should still work. Yeah, it's still functional, so that's good. Now we have the before. Okay, here's where things get really weird. How do you style a before element with Tailwind? And more importantly, do you want to do that? Does anyone want to do that? I think you can just do before. Yeah, there's a modifier class. I think it just adds content nothing. It would be really cool if it did, because I do this all the time. Oh, is it figuring it out? No, it's not figuring anything out. It's just barfing out garbage. Dude, I can't see my code. Go there? I don't know. Yeah, this is where Tailwind is just not that useful. Because when you're doing super artsy, like let's draw a switch. Like right here, I'm literally drawing a switch and I'm styling it to the pixel. When you're in that situation, Tailwind is just garbage, to be honest. It doesn't feel good. So maybe I should just admit that, lean into it a little bit, put back everything that I had before. Maybe I should just undo all of this. Put this back. I mean, remove this, because we don't need that. And you can also do this thing, theme. This is pretty cool. Border radius dot round. Oh, dang it. It was getting it right. Yeah, you can do something like that. And maybe you need type post CSS. Maybe you don't. I have no idea. But yeah, this is a way to reference Tailwind properties without having... Oh my god, me being flipped bothers me so much. But anyways. You sometimes have to... It's nicer to do this than add apply, in my opinion, because I don't want to do add apply with bracket. I just want to write CSS. But this lets you reference Tailwind themes and just write plain CSS classes. Kind of neat. Kind of cool. I'm into it. But yeah, we also have Surface 2 and Surface 3. Surfaces don't exist right now. But they could. They could exist. So perhaps we do that. SCSS is a good tool, but nowadays CSS is totally enough for most things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't use SCSS that much. I used it in one place where I wanted to do a for loop. I wanted a for loop to add some delay. You can see right here, look at how it's like a delayed animation where it goes do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. I need to add a sound effect. But because of that delay, I wanted to do a for loop to add different transition delays for each element in the loop. And you could do that with CSS. You could add a bunch of modifier classes, but I was like, I'm just gonna do a for loop with SCSS because it's the quickest way to do it, and it'll be 0 JavaScript, which I love, and it's gonna be 0 magic strings with JavaScript too. So I just kept it. But the rest of this website, no SCSS to be found because there's no need. It just doesn't do anything. But yeah, I think I can also... You see, this is another place where add apply would get annoying, is I want to write my radial gradient just with CSS. But for this one part, I want to reference Tailwind. So I'd probably say theme BG or background color. And these match how Tailwind themes are written, by the way. I would say like gray dot 900 or something like that. And that would be roughly the same. And you still get your Tailwind autocomplete right there, which is kind of nice. So here I want to do that, and then I'm going to do the same down here. Theme, background, color, gray, like 600, and we'll just see how that looks. We'll just see how it looks. Who knows? The rest of that just kind of stays where it is. Okay, it's gone. Okay, it disappeared. It disappeared completely, but that's okay. That's okay. We're still in the game. We're still in the game. Still in the game. Oh, I'm not actually styling it anymore. That's why. Well, that's easy to fix. Yeah, look at that. There it is. We're back to normal. And it looks exactly how I want it to look, to be honest. Now, I do think I could change this to be 700. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. But yeah, boom, we're back in the game. Looks good to me. I really like Tailwind, like really. I just hope that someday everything will be sort of like Tailwind. It does make sense. There's some CVA on it and you can make things very clear. I don't think I need to. Why would I do that? This looks fine to me. I'm happy with the code I've written. I don't know. I don't see a need to change it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh yeah, and here I have a bunch of stuff that I copied out of Figma directly. I'm just going to leave it. It works. Eventually we'll codify this to be like a generic library for surfaces, but screw it. It works, and we're going to ship it. Happy with the code I've written. That does not compute. Yeah, I get it. That is a weird sentence that I just said. Sorry about that. But yeah, this still animates, still looks good. We also want grid template areas, so that stays where it is. Rotate, yeah, just keep that. I don't care. Checkbox, display none. Yeah, that's fine. Where do we have this checkbox? I bet we could just style that. Yeah. Do you just say display none, or do you say none? Maybe you just say none. That'd be a cool hack. Does that work? Nice. Oh, I do need to... Nope, that doesn't work. How do you say display none? Is that not a thing? What are you telling me? Hidden. That's dumb. That's dumb. I don't understand why you did that. But, alright, fine. And we do also have class checkbox because we do need to do this insane mapper. Don't worry about this. I would never write this with Tailwind. It's pretty cool. What'd it do? Oh, I also need to... Yeah, something like that. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that code. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And it looks like when it's checked, we style it differently. When this is checked, we style this differently. We also set this to text 5, which is no longer a thing. So we probably need to... Sorry. I actually don't know how to select this. Yeah, that'll do. We want to do theme... what am I doing? Yeah, text, color, dot, gray, dot, 400. And this should probably be different depending on light and dark mode. I'm aware of that. Yep, so that works. And then we have just like a bunch of squiggle selectors, which is how things go. We have content recruiter, display none, display whatever. Okay, so we're mostly there. Not bad. Well, yeah, I should probably just do add apply here. I know this is such a mess of things, but screw it. Because I don't know what the light mode should look like. And I also need to change the color wherever this was initially declared. I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's probably just up here. It's probably just in the label. Yeah, I wrote literally everything. I wrote apply. I wrote theme. I wrote literally everything. I don't know if that's a bad idea, but that's what I chose. So here we are. But hey, it's good stream content. He's rewriting his CSS. I never do that. I know. It's good streamer content. That's a good excuse. Sure. Sure. Okay, so we rewrote some of it. We got some themes referenced. It feels good. This is why I don't use Tailwind on a lot of things. Because in a lot of cases, or not a lot of things. This is why I don't use Tailwind for really custom stuff on personal websites. When you get nitty-gritty with CSS, it's really nice to just write CSS and to just make it happen instead of finding a weird equivalent, like writing a custom gradient with Tailwind classes. Why? Just put it in some CSS. Don't do that. Just keep it where it is. But in other cases where you're just messing with flexbox and padding and all of that, like, yeah, just Tailwind your way to victory. Who cares about that? I can vibe with both of those ideas. Like here, why would I write some CSS? I just want to add some margin. How did I manage to close that file? I don't even know how I managed to close that file. But I made it happen. Yep. That's good. Oh, wait, that's the H2 for in brief. Got it. So what about this? Because this doesn't have any padding. At least not right now. I think it'll be like a 2. Let's find out. Yeah, 2 is good. And I'm curious what's going on with the spacing here. Because I see a bit of like centering that I don't really want. Like it's not ugly, but oh yeah, there's some label padding. I'm surprised at that. Do I have any padding applied to it? No. I have MX2. That would do it. Why do I have MX2? I don't think that looks very good. Yeah, I should just delete that. Cool. Nice. Yeah, that's aligned. And now if we scale it up, that looks good as well. All right, nice. Looks good. Maybe the text contrast on the 400 is not... Maybe that could be darker, just to kind of show it, but nah, I do like the text contrast that we have. And I rendered it twice just to make sure it has some space. I'm still running high, having 98% code coverage. I don't care about code coverage, man. Just write code and ship it. I don't worry that much about unit test coverage, but that's good for you. I mean, if they are good, they are well-written tests, then congrats. Congrats, sir. All right, we're overdue for a commit. Depths, Tailwind. Even if it's 98%, yeah, I think that's probably too much test coverage. That would just be a guess. Because I don't think 98% of code deserves a test. That's just like a general thought of mine. And that'll probably start a war about testing and what is necessary. I know about that. That's just a thought. It is a thought that I have. Simply put. All right, Tailwind config. So we have in brief, we have body, we have... I don't even think we need the type post CSS. I think we can just delete that. Yeah, that should still just work. Yeah, it still just works. Great. It's cool in Astra, you don't have to say type TypeScript or type SCSS, because I know in Vue and Svelte, you need to do that. In Astra, it's like, yeah, just write whatever, and we kind of know what you're doing. You're just writing JavaScript, that's chill. You're writing TypeScript? All right, yeah, we'll parse it as TypeScript. Whatever, dude. I love that. All right, this did simplify a few parts of the code base, which I really do like. All right, feet. Or it's really a refactor, let's be real. Tailwind, blog, and in brief. Actually, let's just... all right, yeah, we'll do these as separate commits. Tailwind in brief. Oh, I misspelled in brief, but if you don't have a typo in your commits, then what are you really doing? Are you really doing it right? I don't think so. Yeah, and there are some corners that we may not get to refactor, but that's okay, because we removed all of the open prop stuff, I think, except for the easing curves, but those are just utilities that we want to have. I can get away with not writing tests, but should I? Yes, probably. I think that there are some corners where if you put a unit test around it, you're solidifying a bit of code, a bit of behavior that is annoying to change because you need to rewrite all of the tests based on the change. Sometimes that's necessary. You want to lock down a bit of functionality. Other times, you're testing too deep into the code, and there's no need to test that utility function or that little bit of UI. Like, there's no need to test it because all you're doing is basically updating a snapshot, which is your unit test, every time you modify it. And the test is doing nothing but adding a barrier to making changes. And I just don't think it's useful to have tests that are nitty-gritty unit tests really deep in the code. I think there's use in having integration tests, end-to-end tests that make sure the system is working properly, and unit tests for very reused functions that have a very defined scope. But there's a lot of functions in a code base that don't have that scope defined, like at all. And those don't need test. In fact, you can use TDD and then delete the test once the function is working. I'm the 1%. You most likely are. Well, that's not true. I think there's a lot of programmers that really do value code coverage. And if you are a TDD person, I can't really argue because I haven't built code that way. So I can't say I'm right and you're wrong. I don't know. I don't really know. But I have run into enough places where I over-tested code. I spent way too much time authoring and refactoring those tests when I realized my code didn't do what it needed to do. And that told me, yeah, I just added a bunch of barriers in front of code that was squishy and was going to change a bunch over the next few months. And that made me realize I should not gate all of my code beyond unit test. There is a balance, and it is not 100%. It's probably closer to 80 or 70% coverage, depending on your code base, though. I'm forced to test, like I'm stuck in jest. I hate it. I get it, Fuzzy. I get it. Why does testing make refactoring harder? Because you're codifying is a stupid word. You are taking a function, you're assuming it's always going to exist in the code base, first of all. So if you delete the function or rewrite the code in a different way, all those unit tests break and your life sucks. But you're assuming this function will always exist. You're assuming this function will always exist to do a specific thing. So if you ever realize, oh, these three functions should be combined into one, and the app doesn't change, you shouldn't have to rewrite all of your tests because the app didn't change. You just made a refactor to take these three related functions and combine them into one single thing. But by doing that, all of your unit tests that expected these functions to exist have to get deleted and rewritten for the new God function. And that sucks because there are very low-level functions in a code base that are just doing very small things, and they don't need a test because they aggregate into a bigger thing that you should be testing. That's my thinking, is if you write tests that are too tied to all of the functions in your code, then you're making it impossible to change those functions, how they work, how they're combined, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just really frustrating to me. So I've definitely been liberated not having to think that way. Like the way our Astro code base works is we test, build the website, make sure the CSS bundles this way, make sure the page renders these headings, make sure of all of these things. We don't test the functions that are rendering the page. We test the page itself. And it's just a little bit better that way. I value code coverage, but I do not write it. Do not get me wrong. If it is an integration test or E2E, it is not as easy as people think it is. No, end-to-end is a bothersome thing to do. And that's why end-to-end is usually the top of a testing pyramid, and you don't write a ton of end-to-end tests. Usually they're testing very overarching flows instead of testing every micro interaction on a site. Integration tests are where you want to be, which is taking a bunch of functions together, making sure that they all behave in the right way and give you the output that you expect. And then unit tests are at the bottom, but they should be very few and far between, in my opinion. Most of code is side effects. All right, yes. I think you talked about integration tests, the diamond, which is a Dodds thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely beyond Kensey Dodds, but yes. Most of the code, yeah. Front-end is a bit of a different ballgame, perhaps. But I write libraries that are exclusively back-end or build-time code. Most of the code I write is not front-end code. I'm writing back-end and library-level stuff. And even then, I am not unit testing all of the individual functions of that library. I might test user-facing functions, and I might test how those functions build the website. I'm being pretty abstract, but that's what I would test. But for little things that are like a utility to make sure this CSS file renders this name, I am not going to test that function because I just wrote it as a one-off that I might delete in a month when I realize there's bugs. Like, there's just no reason. And if I wrote test, I still wouldn't cover all the bugs. My test passed now. Good for you, Fuzzy. I'm glad you conquered the jest demon. All right. I don't want to continue this discussion because talking to someone that is chatting with me while I'm losing my voice from streaming for 2 hours, it's just not productive. So if you want to tweet me any further discussions on tests, you certainly can. But I'm definitely of the opinion you do not need to test every little thing. It assumes that all of your functions will exist how they are, and it makes it super frustrating to rewrite them later. So you just can't convince me that 100% code coverage is a good idea. Test-driven development is different, but I don't think that you need to have 100% of your functions tested. I don't even think 90%. That's it. I actually find it easier to refactor with test. I don't understand how that's possible. I really don't. I really don't understand how that's possible. I really don't. But, okay. Unless you're getting paid and your manager is that. Well, that's one way to put it. If you're just trying to get things done. That is one way to put it. I'm not as extreme as maybe Theo or other influencers are, though. I know Theo, the front-end developer, he's working on a library right now. And he posted a video like, wow, I finally found a place for a unit test. I'm kind of like, no shit. You should have been testing that library you built way more than you tested it, buddy. Because they do 100% manual test, and it is just gross. Promission is a little more pro-testing than most. Perhaps. He would disagree with 98% code coverage being positive, though. He would disagree with it. I don't know what his nuance is, but it's squishy. It's a squishy problem. It's a very squishy problem. So let me go over. Oh my god. Breathe. When you stream, you project your voice, and that makes it harder. It makes it harder to keep going. It's nothing against you. At a 2-hour mark, I always feel this way, and I just stop talking as much. So I'm going to dive into a bit of code here, and I may be more quiet than I was for the rest of the stream. But let's make some stuff happen. Ooh, my SCSS. Look at this. A for loop. It's pretty cool, right? I wrote a for loop. This is the only SCSS in my whole website. That's the beautiful thing about Astro is you can only bundle one little part of the page with SCSS, and the rest of it doesn't use it. I love that. You don't have to have SCSS gobble up all of your website and toolchain. It's just, there. Okay, what am I doing? I'm styling things. That's what I'm doing. So we have a toggle. What does the toggle do? It's definitely this guy. Can we style this ourselves with Tailwind? Yes. That's the toggle background. Interesting. But let's see if the whole thing can be written this way. It's interesting that it's not a perfect square. I would expect it to be. Oh my god, this dev tool is the biggest thing just ever. Oh my god. Justify between. Oh my god, did it figure it out? Oh my god, it figured it out. Copilot! Copilot! Ah! It figured it out! It found me out! It knows what I'm doing! I'm scared. Let's see if it figures this out. Come on, Copilot. You got it. You got it. Come on. The problem is you never hit the enter key when you're using Tailwind, so it's not figuring it out. Come on, Copilot. You got this. Come on. Come on. It feels like you're starting a gas engine. You're just like, come on. Come on. I'm pulling the ripcord. It's not working. Come on. Yeah. Is that it? Wow, yeah, I think so. So you have an inset, a z-index, border radius, BG. That is exactly it. Dang, all right. Welcome. Welcome to the jungle. Whew. Okay, so this is where I'm like, I don't want to break out a component called stripe. I really don't want to. I would much rather write some scope styles that nail this. Now, this is where Tailwind shines. Is I have these really annoying classes that mean almost nothing. And I would love to just you know, write them in line. The problem is the properties that I'm using are a bit weird. Oh, and look at that. I modified the middle to be transition oh my God, I got really clever. I feel like I should keep this code. Yeah, there's no value in rewriting this in Tailwind. That's what I'm going to do. If there's ever code, then I'm like, it's just going to be worse with Tailwind. I'm not going to rewrite it. I'm going to keep it. Because this, I don't want to learn how to rewrite that. Because it looks fine here. Then we have modifiers. Yeah. I'm just going to keep it. And then these, I could probably use a little bit of Tailwind apply, but no, I'm just going to leave it. Why not? And then this is fine. That is, oh, interesting. Okay. All right, I'm leaving all of that. Decided. I'm leaving all of that. We can probably do this one. And that's a little bit of Alpine up there. Pretty fun. But yeah, we'll do sticky top 0. Let's see if it figures out the rest. Come on. Come on, Copilot. You know what I'm doing. You just proved that you know what I'm doing. How does it not know? Why isn't Copilot doing anything? Is there a way to poke it? Is there a way to force it? All right, let's just keep going. So we have gap. We have items, center. We have text. That is text large now. We have... This is a trick that I've been doing, and I'm debating if I want to do it. It's based on text size, which is kind of interesting. I think I can just do P2. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. I don't even know why I split it out, to be honest. And then you can say transition colors, which is a vibe. How do you set the cubic? Oh, it sets its own Bezier. It probably looks good, whatever the Bezier is that's built into Tailwind. So I'm going to allow that. Then I'm going to delete that. Oh, no. Oh, buddy. Nuh-uh. Aw, and the undo. Aw, I hate you so much. Neovim! I hate you. You broke me. Completely broke me. Okay, that looks good. Nice. That looks good. Now we have our UL down here. I think it already does list style none because Tailwind resets. We already have display flex. Well, we don't really. Yeah, let's style this. And I called it links, but I didn't actually use that class, which is kind of funny. So we're going to say flex gap inherit. That was clever. But I don't think they actually allow you to do that. That's okay. ML auto? Yeah. And then we have items. Yeah, this is where I got really clever for no reason. You can use inherit in order to like say, I want to use the same gap that was up in the nav. I want to use the same this and that. But meh, I don't care. And I'm pretty sure we don't need that text decoration none down there. I could be wrong though, because I added some global styles. I was wrong. This is what I get for using globals. Yeah, I don't know if I even like the dotted line, but that's what I chose. Meh. Let's see what I can do about it. I'm okay with using this. I'm debating if this should also be like a Tailwind class, but this is styled based on the parent, so I just don't want to deal with it. Then we also have nav.open. Oh, interesting. Background color var bg. Yeah, just leave it. Oh, that's not even a thing, though. Yeah, that was to make sure this doesn't clip the way it's doing right now. So I'm going to say... We're going to do an add apply because that's just the easier way. Add apply, and that's going to be like BG gray or dark. Dark BG gray 9. I can't remember if it's 900 or 950. I'm pretty sure it's 950. Let's give that a look. Let's see. Yeah, nice. That looks good. And we're going to remove the text decoration. There. That's fine. It also needs to expand and collapse as I scroll. That's something I didn't add. So I'm going to need to add it now. The text is pretty big for the padding that we have, but that's okay. And it looks like padding 2 was wrong. I think that's our issue. We actually want bigger padding. Just all the way around. Yeah, that is better padding all the way around. We may even want bigger padding on the horizontal. PX3. No. PY3, PX5. These are funny numbers, but Tailwind makes sure the math. Tailwind will make sure the math looks good. Yeah, that looks fine. I don't think it's actually setting the font to the correct font, though. That doesn't look like Atkinson. That looks like a different font for some reason. Am I right about that? Is this Atkinson? That's my regular font, but let me take a look. Yeah, see, it's not applying the correct font. Huh. Yeah, it's just applying whatever is inherited from HTML, which is yucky. Huh. I wonder why it's doing that. Is it because it's in a list? It's probably because it's in a list. That's my guess. Make it a component and pass a variant. No. Why? Why would I make a variant already? Thanks for showing me Tailwind Pros. Yeah, I was wondering the other day how you would style and handle the markdown. Yeah, at that point, I would probably write some CSS and use add apply in order to target all the elements, because you can't target children with Tailwind. That's just not how it works. It's meant to be inline classes. Ben needs some coffee. No, I don't. I got it right here, man. I got it right here. But your voice can still go, and your heart rate can be up, all right? I know this from streaming. I can be blasting on cold brew, but I just can't talk anymore. It can totally happen. I should also probably end the stream in like 2 minutes, because I swore I would keep it to like a 2-hour stream. Make it a component. Oh, yeah, I already read that. I don't think we need that yet. I think we're okay as is, but I'll consider if I ever need to do that. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why an LI would not use the correct font. Like, what's up with that? Oh my God, every frickin' time. I'm like trying to do this command in order to open this menu, but I type a space bar instead of typing command, because I'm so used to Vim where you use the space bar to do all of your commands. It's just, it's annoying. And by the way, it sounds like I'm a Vim person using VS Code for the first time. Total opposite. I use VS Code for everything. And I started using NeoVim as a joke that turned into like a full-time thing for this stream. And now every time I'm using Vim motions, like every time I'm using the Vim key bindings, I feel like I'm in NeoVim. So I use all of those shortcuts when I'm not supposed to. So now I'm trying to blend my VS Code life with my Vim life into one environment, and my brain just doesn't have the muscle memory. It's still not getting there. But yeah, let's figure out what's going on with that style. I'm guessing that we can go down here and figure it out. I think we can say UL? Font family, yeah. And theme is fine here. Yeah, something like that. Does that work? It does. Huh. So UL was resetting the font family. I don't know why that is. I also style button just because I know buttons are notoriously hard. Yeah. Vim seems like it. Yeah, it does have better shortcuts in general. VS Code has a couple legs up. It has a couple legs up. So I'll start with like my favorite VS Code shortcut and my favorite Vim shortcut. How about that? My favorite Vim shortcut is using C insert, so CI, and then the delimiters that I want to edit within. So for example, if I wanted to set all of the text that's inside of these quotes, like these open quotes right here, I want to overwrite all of this text. I can just be anywhere inside of the quotes and type CI quote. And that will send me into text mode, delete all the text that's there, and let me edit the contents. So freaking nice. And if I want to say, no, I actually want to edit everything inside the parentheses, not the quotes, I can say CI parenthesis. And now I'm editing everything inside the parenthesis. Such a great shortcut. VS Code obviously doesn't have an equivalent to that, or if it did, it has an extension or something I don't know about. But it's so simple in NeoVim. I love that. Now, favorite VS Code shortcut that Vim does not do. Multi-cursor. Multi-cursor has been a haven for Visual Studio before VS Code existed. Multi-cursor is such a power user thing. But it's super useful if you just want to edit multiple instances of the same string. In NeoVim, you would probably do slash and a bunch of weird like selectors in order to kind of regex your way to victory. But in VS Code, all you have to do is Command D. And now if you hit Command D a few times, you multi-cursor over all of the matching text. And I'm trying to figure out how this works with Vim motions, but in traditional VS Code, you could start typing and it would edit all the instances of that text. JetBrains, yes. Yeah, it has next occurrence Alt-J. Yeah. Anything that's more IDE-like has multi-cursor from my understanding. Even Sublime Text, I think, has multi-cursor. Could be wrong. I don't know. But it's something NeoVim and just Vim motions doesn't have. Because it comes from an era where multi-cursor wasn't a thing. That's my guess. But in IDEs, it's obviously a thing. And the problem is when you start typing, it really breaks my brain. Because it's like, why did you start typing that? So I need to figure out, how do you use multi-cursor with Vim? Because for whatever reason, it's not working how I expect it to. It's really not working how I expect it to. I need to figure out how that works. Because you can see here, I have all of these highlighted. And ideally, I should be able to start typing. I can't tell if I'm in insert mode or what. I'm actually in a visual mode, according to this. So if I'm in visual mode, I should be able to hit the I key and enter insert mode. But I can't. For whatever reason, I'm stuck in visual mode. And if I hit D, okay, that works. Okay, that's something. But now my cursor is one off from where it was. So that's a bit of a mess. Yeah, I need to figure out how to use multi-cursor correctly. My editor crashes a bunch. Oh, JetBrains is Garvo? Man, yeah. I know that their indexing takes a long time, but once the indexing is done, JetBrains is pretty fast. I had a good time using it for Kotlin, which is like Java but better. But I haven't used it for like WebStorm and all of that stuff, so that's a shame. VS Code is also a mess. TypeScript server, it breaks pretty frequently. It's been getting worse, in my opinion. So I'm not going to say VS Code is much better. I think all the IDEs have instability that I wish they would work on, but they haven't. It's a shame. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the stream here, but we got most of this website refactored to Tailwind classes, which makes me feel really good. Refactor, style, navbar. And I'm also really liking the balance that we're trying to strike. Because you can see I put some inline Tailwind classes for just like, let's edit some gaps and layouts and whatevers. But if it ever gets weird, like arguably this shouldn't have been Tailwind, but I left it because Copilot gave it to me. But in general, stuff like this, where we're like reaching for CSS variables and we're inheriting things, we're setting transform origin, which has multiple properties. Like this feels better as a CSS class. And also using inheritance to say, oh, if the parent is open, style the children this way. It's better to use just a CSS class for that. So I like that we're not just whole scale shove it all into Tailwind classes. There are corners where it's nicer to just have regular style blocks. And in Astro, these are scope styles, by the way. If you're wondering, it's scoped. It is scoped. So yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end up, is using Tailwind for all the nitty-gritty, or all the boring stuff that is annoying to type out as classes that you name. But for anything like this, I'm going to break it out to some CSS because I'm more comfortable that way. I just am. So yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling this hybrid. There's a balance. Who would have thunk? All right, so let's find someone to raid. It's a good stream, though. It was a good stream. We had some heated discussions. We had some hot takes, some popular opinions, some unpopular opinions. But I think we had a good time overall. I think we did. So if you had a good time, drop a follow. I'm live around this time a few days a week. Thursdays are usually the day that I'm on, but I'm also on just different times. Goodbye, Neb. There you go. That's what's up. Done some great work. Thank you, Fuzzy. You always doing some great work. Appreciate you. For whatever reason, I'm not logged into Twitch, and I don't think I can log in right now. Is anyone live? Who should I raid? I'm logged into Twitch on this viewer, but I'm not logged into Twitch actually. So I don't know who to raid. Who's live right now? Is there someone that we should go to? Is the Primeagen live? Is he live? He's probably live. Yeah, he's live. All right, that was easy. Adam Learns live. Ooh, I like new suggestions. So let's look at that. Adam Learns live. What is Adam up to? What is this man doing? I'm getting an ad. 1 second. Almost there. Almost there. Worked at Google. I like it. Okay. Almost loaded. All right. He's got a moon lander, perhaps? He has a split keyboard, so he's definitely cooler than me already. He needs to bump up his font size. So someone tell him, bump up your dang font size. It's too small. But we'll rate him. Seems like a guy that's doing good code. He's writing Markdown. Who doesn't like a little Markdown? But yeah, we'll go ahead and rate him. There you go. But yeah, thanks for joining, people. You can drop a follow. You can subscribe. You can do all the things for engagement. Otherwise, I'll see you maybe tomorrow. I need to double check if I'm actually going to be live tomorrow. But if I am, well, I'll ping your phone when Twitch notifies you. So yeah, I'll see you all around. Yeah, this refactor's feeling pretty good. Oh, I'm still live. I'm just talking to myself. This will go in the VOD.